But for most of us, it takes and requires time for us to create the new habit within our body. We're told that every 11 months that we're recreating ourselves, yeah, at a cellular level. So why is it that we're continuously recreating sickness, loss, and disease?
Because you didn't quit feeding it.
Yes,
What has your attention as your life? Because as long as you're alive, it's alive. Unless you change your mind. That's the whole point of all these talks, is that you have a valid say. You can change what you're saying with your valid say, and you can change your world of experiencing in accordance to what you're saying with your valid say. Is that right?
that's it. You know what? And you've actually given them the plan of salvation through their valid say, because as you stated, that's the whole purpose of what it is that we talk about. And the wonderful thing about what it is that we talk about, it doesn't matter what your religious beliefs are. It really does not matter. You can hold to your same religious beliefs and begin changing your mind and transforming your world.
That's it. And then the change will change everything for you.
Yeah.
Because you see, you actually are in charge, but you have to take charge. You have to knowingly take charge. Thou shalt decree. Well, you see, the thing of it is that you are choosing something all the time. And if it's not what you believe, well, then you're damning yourself. Because that's the only thing that can damn you, is what you're doing to yourself. Listen to yourself in the silence. Just listen to, just monitor the thoughts that are coming through. Not judging them. Just listen to what you're thinking about. And then do I really want to experience this? No. Well, then drop it. But you see, that's not what they do. They go on and on and on with that same idea, and then they wind up experiencing it, and then they go to God, and they're asking Him to relieve them of this problem. And He's saying, I hear you not. Because you're not speaking the language that He wants to hear. That you're living the life you want, because that's what He gave you. Choose it. If you're not choosing it, what can He do about it? He's not going to interrupt you. He's not going to tap you on the shoulder and say, hey, this is a better idea. No, He's already explained it all to you in the Scriptures. That as you think you are. There it is. 3 words will tell you exactly what you're doing. As you think. That's your world of experiencing. If you want to change it, change it. You can do so. You were given to do so. And that was given to you by God in the beginning. You were a child born of a woman, innocent. And He knew that you'd be conditioned to the ongoing drama, and that you would need to have something to fight with. But it's not really a fight. It's a self-struggle. For thinking, feelingly, create your world of experiencing. So the battle isn't really yours, but you can make it so, can't you?
You can. You can. And what you were really pointing them to was getting to a state of awareness, that they become aware that they've been given to choose, because many people say, well, I can't just change my thoughts, but that's not so. Of course you can. We do it all the time. But we think that there's big things and there's small things. And so because we assess that there's big things that are so big that God can't change and small things that He has no problem changing, then of course that's what we experience. But if we realize there's only things, and to God, there is no big thing or small thing, it's just change, but He's given to us the ability to do so by saying, choose you this day.
Yeah, that's that famous quotation, that which I have feared has come upon me. You see, if you fear something, that means you expect it.
Yeah.
And you always get what you expect. So if you're fearing something, drop it. Let go and let God. And if you believe God, and you believe God's promises, then you saved yourself right there just by agreeing with what you're already understanding, that it's you thinking and feeling is your world of experiencing. I hope I make that clear every day, every time we speak, don't I?
I think you do. And I think I want to just touch on drop it, because I know that many of the listeners will have the question, well, what does that mean, drop it? It says, draw near to God, and he will draw near to you. I say draw near to good, and good will draw near to you. Resist evil or error, and it will flee. When Mr. Lindell says drop it, it's simply replacing that negative thought, that thought that you don't desire, with something more desirable. So if you're dealing with lack, then begin experiencing, seeing the abundance around you and saying, thank you, Father. As you begin vibrating, thank you, Father, what you're going to start to experience is more opportunities to experience more abundance.
Yeah, the opportunities are always right with you.
Yeah.
See, that's what you want to remember. Everybody's saying, well, I never had a chance. Everybody has a chance.
Yeah.
Because you don't need anybody's permission to change your mind. And that's all you need to do to change your world of experiencing. Now, that sounds very simple, I understand, and I know that what it's going to take is you disciplining yourself to sit in the silence and think about what it is we're telling you. That we're sharing this with you so that you may enjoy what we're enjoying. And you can, because you were given by God to do so. And that's all we were trying to make you aware of, is that you have the blessing also. It's all grace. It's all done by grace. If God didn't do it, it wasn't done, we're told. So you're dealing with God. If you believe his promises, then that's salvation. Just believing his promises is salvation itself, isn't it?
It is. And let me touch on something. It's not a matter of worthiness or because we were doing all this stuff right. So don't get into your mind that I don't stub my toe and want to curse. When I stub my toe, if I'm caught off guard, I may curse. Why do I say that? I want you to understand that we're just like you. It's just that we understand that as you think you are, and we realize that we're creating constantly. I don't want you to think that we're sitting on top of some mountain and that we have no care in the world. Life comes to us all. The question is, what is it that you do when life presents itself to you?
That's it. Everybody's attacked some way or another. In other words, everybody is letting everybody down at some time. But understand, all you really need to change your mind, to change your world, is the knowledge that you can do so.
Absolutely.
And we can tell you about the knowledge that you can do so. But that means you have to be the one to do so. Yeah. Because it's seek and you shall find. It didn't say get somebody else's ideas. It says seek and you shall find. And you shall. And you'll be rewarded for the doing so. It's benefits that are waiting for you to claim. And that's what you have to do. You have to show up and you have to claim what you want. Thou shalt decree a thing and it shall be so. That's given to you to claim something, decreeingly so. So you're in charge even if you're out of control. Isn't that so?
It is. And so what we want to point it back to is it's about a firsthand experience. You can listen to us, Neville, or whatever, whoever the next great teacher is and where he or she comes from. But until you begin practicing, experiencing, going into the silence, sometimes dealing with your knocks and bumps and so forth, until it becomes firsthand experience for you, it's just going to always be secondhand.
Right. Right. It's all secondhand on the without. It was only new as idea. There's not one thing out there that isn't secondhand because it had to have a thought to be here. And you can think anything you like. and everything is available because you were given whatsoever to choose from. What are you choosing from whatsoever? So just look at your life right up to this very moment. If you haven't chosen well, then start choosing well. It's as simple as that, isn't it?
It is. And I love that you made the statement, everything's available. You just need to begin thinking from the mindset, the attitude of the thing that you desire. You have to begin to enclose yourself with that new ideal because it is available to you. Now, it's not something that you do for a moment and say, I've done that, it doesn't work. It has to become, as Mr. Lindell said earlier, it has to become a lifestyle for you. Practice, repetition, ongoing play of this drama man. You have to begin living that new concept, that new belief out.
Actually, that is it. If as you think you are, that right there, just sit and contemplate that idea for any length of time, and you'll come to the conclusion that everybody comes to the conclusion, generally, most of the time. And that is that your say is a valid say. But what are you saying with your valid say? This is not telling you what to think, as Mr. DeCarlo was telling you. It's not not telling you what to think. It's telling you that as you think, you are, you do, you have, you be. So watch it, wouldn't you say?
It's funny that you said that because that's exactly where I was going. As you think, you have, you do, you be. So if you're thinking it, you're also going to express it in what we call reality. So it's not enough. You're not going to, for example, think abundance and continue to live a life of lack. There's just no way. If you're truly operating from the mindset of abundance, you're going to start doing what abundant people do. And I'm not talking about getting in debt, but you're going to start creating and becoming abundant in your lifestyle. Likewise with love, with health, whatever it is that you've enclosed yourself in, and as you think you are, you're going to start living that persona out.
As you're impressed, you express. So if you are wise, you're impressing yourself. Unwise is taking from others to express because they may not be of the same mindset you are, or you may be of the mindset they are, and then you won't enjoy your life because there's no two alike. There's no two people on the face of this earth that are alike. Similarly, yes, but not alike. And so everyone is different. But the idea was to be in the world, but not of the world, because that way you could be different. But as the world, the mindsets of the world, then you experience what the world experiences. And that's how you're attacked all the time, is that other people's ideas and attitudes and assumptions and moods, if you're listening to them and you're impressed with them, that's what you will be experiencing. Because as you're impressed, you do express. So it's only wise, wouldn't you say, that you impress yourself, right?
Absolutely. And I know that many of us, we think that we can watch various programs or listen to different programs or surf the internet, and we think that the things that we're pouring into our spirit has no effect on us. And it's just not so. So sometimes an event pops up in your life, and you say, where did this come from? Look to your thoughts creator. What have you been giving your attention to morning, noon, and night? And if you look at that, if you examine that, you'll find that whatever it is that has manifested itself in your world, you'll also find its origin in thought.
Yes. As you think you are. What causes you to think the way you think? That would be something to look into, wouldn't it?
It would.
Yes. And the thing of it is, you see, you don't have to go anywhere. You don't have to confer with anyone at all. This message is your own message. We're just delivering to you your own message in case you weren't aware of it. Because if you are aware of it, then you know first person. If you're not aware of it, then you don't know first person, and you can deny yourself over and over and over. Because here's the statement: nothing changes until you change your mind to change your world. And the first does the second. So there's nothing for you to do physically. It's only mentally that you're staying in that mood, in that attitude of success. Because that's what you're looking for, success in whatever it is you're looking to achieve. And it's with you right here, right now, but you have to claim it. And that's what you're to do. You're to claim. If you don't claim it, you don't get it, right?
Absolutely. And we look back at the story of the parable of the prodigal son, and the younger brother claimed everything. The older brother was content in just living in the father's household, but he said, Father, you've never given me a fatted calf. And the father says, all that I have is yours. It's always at your disposal. But as you often say, you can have $1 million inheritance, but if you never claim it, you can be a pauper on the street.
That's right. That's right. And there are many on the street who have sources they're not aware of.
Yeah.
And that's all we're trying to do is make them aware of it. I mean, that's what it is, isn't it? You make someone aware of the better that they're looking for. And what you're looking for is looking for you. So if they're not looking for the better, then they're not going to find it, right?
Absolutely. Absolutely. It goes back to seek and you shall find.
That's it. That's it. And hopefully you find what you're looking for, really, and you know what it is you're looking for. Because most people are just looking, and they don't even know what they're looking for. So therefore, they're up for grabs for whatever is in the world that would choose for them. Look, as I've said before, they're standing in the wings just looking for those who look like they're lost, like they're not paying attention. And those are the ones they attack. And that's the reason why, because they're not paying attention. Because your attention is everything to you. What are you giving it to? That's the question, isn't it?
It is. It is. And you made the point of they're waiting in the wings, and it's true. And, if we're not mindful of the story that we're telling, then we're living out somebody else's story. And then we're often surprised by living out somebody's story. And it goes back to what you often say, why me, why this, and so forth. And it's primarily because we're living out somebody's rendition, somebody's story, somebody's volume about us.
Yep. That's right. And everybody is a preacher. Everybody's preaching something. It may be nonsense, but everybody's preaching something. But what do you actually hear and take in? What do you open and quicken? That's what you'll be experiencing. That which you focus on is yours. You're claiming it. Claim better than the best so far. Wouldn't you say?
Absolutely. Absolutely. And it's true. I mean, especially now, it used to be far less true when you would say that everybody's a preacher. But with social media, the internet, and all the tools, smartphones and everything, everybody's got a message, and everybody wants you to buy into their message. That's not our goal. Our goal is for you to discover your message, because as I will often say, from Genesis to Revelation, this is your story being told. And what we want for you is to discover your story and begin telling, if need be, a different story.
Yep. Always up to the individual. I will do this. I will not do this. It always comes down to that. And we suggest that you sit in the silence and just see what it is you're thinking about. See what comes before you. See what is being presented. And if you don't like it, you can change it. And that's the whole idea, is that you're looking at what you're saying to yourself, suggesting to yourself, and you're approving of it. Wonderful. Expand, expand, expand on it. But if you're not approving of it, then drop it. And when I say drop it, that means you let it go completely. Because if it's like I said, it's just like the little weed in the garden. You can pull it out, but if it leaves a little quarter of an inch of root, well, it'll be back sooner or later. And that's what you want to do. You don't, it'll just keep popping up until you get it all. And that's what you have to do. That's the discipline you're looking for, is to stay with it long enough to see the benefits. Because once you start seeing the benefits, no one will have to cheer you on. You cheer yourself on, right?
Absolutely. And, and speaking of that, being cheered on, what we want for you is that because you're going to encounter people when you begin living out this message, your message to yourself. People are going to try to dissuade you because, of course, what they want you to do is to live their message for them, and they'll do that at whatever cost. And then you're not only dealing with them, you're dealing with your inner self-talk, ego. And ego wants to keep you conformed to what it's comfortable with, even if what you're comfortable with is discomfort. So with all that coming at you, it's important that you go into the silence and discover your message for yourself.
Yes. And the way we give the message is, we prosper when you prosper. Attitude awareness and imaginational control. That's what it's all about. If you even know your attitudes, you're standing taller than most of the world. Because you really don't know your attitudes until you sit in the silence and listen to what you have to say, and that'll tell you what your attitudes are. And everyone knows that your attitudes either make you or break you, isn't it? Isn't that the story?
That's the story.
Well, but if you don't know them, they can be breaking you, and you don't know what's happening, right?
Absolutely.
See? So there it is. If you leave them, that's that weed in the garden. It'll spread and spread and spread, and you won't have no garden. And that's what's happened to most people who are living the life they don't want. And that's in private interviews, the people come in, and like I said, for the first 5 or 10 minutes, they're bad-mouthing themselves. They're not on their side at all. And I understand that, because it was a time when I wasn't on my side. So I'm trying to tell them that, hey, the only enemy you have to fight is right with you, right here, right now. It is you. You're the one who's doing it, and you're the only one who can undo it. But you have to show up. Isn't that the case?
It is the case, and the thing is, if we're bad-mouthing ourselves and we become aware of that, the wonderful thing about that is not only will we cease to bad-mouth ourselves, but we'll cease to also allow others to do so, because we'll become aware of who it is that we are. And we'll realize that we're God's incarnate in human flesh. Each and every one of us are the byproduct collectively of God.
Absolutely. Absolutely. How'd you get here?
Mm-hmm.
See, that's the whole thing. How'd you get here? Isn't that really the question?
Yeah.
I mean, how did you get here? Well, God made you. God made you. So he made you perfect, innocent. And then you were given over to those warm, well-meaning, loving people, or maybe not. But you were conditioned, programmed, hypnotized, mesmerized, all the way through your childhood to good or otherwise. But you're given, and that's what that ceremony coming of age is, where you start thinking for yourself. Then you go over all the ideas that to see, is it serving me? If it's not serving me, maybe it would have been serving me years ago, but it's not serving me now, then let it go. Drop it. And then follow through with the better ideas. I mean, that's what you're really doing. If you're changing your mind to change your world, that's what you're doing. You're weeding out the nonsense. And if you'll do so consistently, persistently, and it does take real consistency. I mean, like, how many times a day you have to correct yourself? Like I said, you use all the points, right?
70 times 7 sometimes.
Yeah, that's it. And it really does. It armors you to withstand everything if you'll do so, because it isn't you. It's what someone else thinks about you. But what you think about you, that's your life of experiencing. So why not think the best? Isn't that the case?
It is the case, and I love that you again brought it back to the individual. It's not what other people think, because other people are going to think what they're going to think. But more importantly is what it is that you think about you, because the funny thing is when you change your opinion of you, others' opinion of you will also change.
Yeah, and if it doesn't matter to you.
Doesn't matter. Doesn't matter.
What you give importance to is what you hang around your neck. You understand? And it'll stay there until you recognize it. You're always dealing with your self-talk. That's what you're dealing with. That's what you have to combat yourself with. Because it's you. It's you doing it. It's you feeling it. And feeling is the secret of experiencing. And if you'll feel yourself to be better than the best yet, then that's what you'll be experiencing. Isn't that what it does?
It is. It is. And the thing is, many of you think that you can't control your feelings, and that's just not so. If you watch a good movie, it takes you through a whole mirage of different feelings and associations and states and so forth through this 2-hour movie. You experience so many different states. So we can, in fact, control our feelings.
Now, actually, you are in control of it, even if you're not controlling it. The whole idea here is to be in control, and you're given to be in control. So if you're out of control, then it's up to you to get back in control, because you had the message, and the message is your message, and the message is telling you that your say is a valid say. So what are you saying with your valid say? That's what you're experiencing. If you just change what you're saying with your valid say, you would change what you're experiencing. Everybody wants change, but no one wants to follow the rules that get you change. Those are the rules, isn't it?
You're absolutely correct. Those are the rules. And as we begin to understand and abide in the rules, life has rules. I mean, we talk about rules of gravity. We talk about cause and effect. There's multiple rules that we operate in. When we begin to understand what they are and begin utilizing them, that's where our success will, in fact, come in. So as we're closing, what would you say to the listener about the rules in salvation?
Follow them. That's all I can tell you. Follow them. Now follow them as you think you are. So think different, you be different. It's as simple as that. Keep it that simple, and you're able to understand what you're doing, and that's what you want to do. You want to understand what you're doing, that you're thinking, feelingly, is it lovely and of good report, and if not, as I said, drop it, because you're better than that. You have it all. Take advantage of it, wouldn't you? Didn't that say?
That is it. I mean, absolutely. And it's given to us to take advantage of. We've been given dominion, and we're the operating power, that the only one that can control our lives.
Yes. If we truly are the ones charging our life. You see, because if you let your guard down, you're taken. That's it, isn't it?
It is.
Yep. So it's as you think you are. Just think about that a little bit, and it'll start to wear on you until you actually settle to trust it, because that's who you are. That's what you're doing. That's what you're being. You are the doer doing here. Doing what? As you say, that's what you're doing, isn't it?
It is. And just because we say, well, I'm not going to abide in the rules, so they're not going to apply. No, they're still going to apply to you. You're just going to see the chaos of not following the rules until you get into a place where you begin to understand as you think you are. Your life is going to experience to be like a hell on earth.
That's what says it. That's what says it right there, as you think you are. I mean, just test it for yourself. Just see. Watch what you're thinking and see how you're acting, what you're experiencing, good or otherwise. And then you'll know the secret of desired change. Because you do many things that you desire because you say you believe it. Well, change what you believe. You can do that. Someone says, well, you can't change what you believe. Yes, you can. You do it every day. You change what you believe. Anytime you get new information, you change to the new information, if it's acceptable. And that's what you're told to do. As a man thinketh in his heart, his feeling nature, so is he, so does he, so has he. And it's got nothing to do with being religious. I mean, really, it's so that is so been draped over us so long. Actually, you couldn't be anything but religious. But that's a different story too, isn't it?
It is. It is. But it's actually true.
Oh, boy. If they only knew what they had coming, they'd be excitedly at it, wouldn't they?
They would. They would. So, sir,
Yep.
Like always, it's been a pleasure. It's been a pleasure.
Thank you, and thank the audience for listening. I hope they get it.
I think they will. Over time, I think they will. As they keep listening, I think that their lives will certainly be changed. You can't listen to this message over and over again and not get something from it. So, absolutely.
That's right. Absolutely right. Okay.
All right,
Talk to you later.
Talk to you later.
People just want to know what you did to be successful.
The 4 CDs that I have out there, it's all there. If you took any one of the CDs and actually followed through on what you understood there, you could change your mind, change your world. All you have to do is just listen to the CDs. It's always reiteration and reiteration.
I want to go back to the 4 CD set. Go to metaphysicalarttheater.com. We can only mail in the U.S. right now, but for those who are outside the U.S., we can send you a digital bundle with everything so you'll get the enjoyment without waiting for it in the mail. Matter of fact, those who are in the U.S., if you would rather have the digital copies, we can do that as well. metaphysicalarttheater.com.